Hey everybody, hopefully you had a good holiday weekend. Sorry we're late there. I had a lightning strike right over my house, and I think I might have screwed up my phone. So I'm calling on a cell phone. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Can you all hear me okay? Can I get some yays or nays? Okay, super. All right. So again, hopefully you had a very good holiday weekend, and we got some great information for you today. First, just touching very briefly on where we are with the market right now. Warning, this Warren Buffett indicator predicts a market crash. Investors, take a look at Warren Buffett's favorite economic indicator. We all know what that is, which is market cap GDP. This ratio is over 100%. Stock market can be considered overvalued, vice versa. So over 100%, it's considered overvalued. So this ratio stood at 110% at the start of the financial crisis and fell to 56% when the market crashed. That's good. That's what you want to get in. But guess where we are today? You can see it right here. Type in where we are today. So we were at 110 before the financial crisis. Yes, we're at over 150%. So what does that tell you about if we don't start seeing catching up really quickly with earnings, what's going to happen? And our earnings, with everything going on right now, our earnings are going through the roof for the vast majority of companies. No, it is not. So we're still in a danger area. So, but let's talk about today. So we are, tomorrow is our next try at the experiment. So we're sending out another marketing blast to see, again, remember the things that we're trying to accomplish. One is, can we get people to respond? And we've shown that we can do that. Then number two, can we get them to make appointments? We've shown that we can do that. That's where we're at. But now we need to make sure when they show up for the appointments, and we can close that business. So we're sending out we've had a small success. Now we're sending out a much bigger try to see how that works. And we're doing it we should have a much faster response rate in this. So hopefully by tomorrow, everybody keep their fingers crossed that we have some positive results from everything that happens tomorrow. So everybody gonna get some yays. You're gonna all keep your fingers crossed that this thing works tomorrow. Just one person wants it to work. Two people want it to work. 3, 4. Just 4 people want. Don't say duh. Cool. Awesome. So, now, how about what we should be doing when we're waiting, whether it's now or any other time? What should we focus on when business is slow? And guess what? It should also be what we focus on all the time. This is stuff you can be doing in the background, and a lot of it is can be run on auto. So when you're, a lot of great ideas already. So number one is re-energize your life. So go ahead. If you're going to be taking a vacation, take it when business is slow. If you're going to be thinking about visiting family, visit when business is slow. If you need to get back into your family and reconnect, do it when business is slow. So re-energize your life. We all need to recharge our batteries, but when business is slow is the time to do that. That's why I always took the summers off. That's what I chose to recharge my battery. Another thing you can be doing is going through your CRM. And if you don't have it, guys, in today's world, if you do not have a CRM, and if you're not using that CRM on a regular basis, guess how much money you're missing out on? So, does anybody not know what a CRM is? Okay. So I don't care if it's was it Red Hawk? Is that one of them? I don't care if it's Act. I don't care what it is. You need to have a CRM. Redtail. That's it. Thanks. Redtail, Act. You need to have a CRM. And what do you do with that CRM? Number one, it's a great place to go back and constantly remarket to folks. Guys, we tell our customers that they need to be compounding their investments. Well, CRMs is how you compound your investment in marketing. Because how many times does it take to touch the average person before they buy? And there's no correct answer to this, but we all know it's not one time. It's 8, it's 10, it's 12 times, and everybody's a little bit different. The CRM is what allows you to touch those people over and over and over again. So if you don't have a CRM, you need to get a CRM and enter all of those people that are in your filing cabinet into your CRM. Now, it makes me very sad when I talk to an advisor and they say they don't have a CRM, or I've just basically sold people and haven't talked to them forever. Guys, how much money are they missing out on? Unbelievable amounts. So this is a time to get a CRM if you don't have one. And I can't believe if you don't, you need to get one as soon as possible and fine-tune the one you currently have. That's one thing. And what are you going to do with that CRM? Well, market to your cold leads, market to your warm leads, market to your hot leads. In your CRM, you should have them. Are they? How long ago did you talk to them? 3 years ago or 3 months ago? What were they interested in? Social Security, Medicare. What were they interested in? Create a marketing message to get back to them on that thing that they're interested in. So you should be working your leads, knowing that it takes 8 to 12 times of touching somebody to get them to move. You gotta keep constantly touching them with better value-added marketing. So that's the second thing you'd be doing. The other thing you should be doing is figuring out ways to move the people that are currently. I've got a couple of guys doing huge amounts of business now with people they saw before the COVID crisis. So all these people with when COVID hit stopped in the process, but these advisors kept, and $3 million, $5 million in assets coming in that stopped with COVID. Guess what a lot of advisors did when all these customers stopped? They stopped. Instead, these advisors kept in contact, kept providing value-added contact, and kept pushing them through the funnel. So now, everything stopped last February, so we got March, April, May, June. 4 months later, now it's loosening up and people are actually moving forward. They're less frozen or paralyzed by the COVID crisis, and they're actually moving forward. But that would not have occurred if these advisors hadn't followed up. And are they, guys, when they follow up, are they just saying, so just check it in? Should we ever follow up with that, like that? No. What do we follow up with, guys? How do we follow up with folks? Very good, Ron. Value added, useful info, Nick. Yep, we got to provide constant information. They're like, I need this guy around me. So next thing, keep calm and show your clients love. So how many times can we contact, or, there was a big study done by one of the entities that I trust most in this industry. These guys have built unbelievably huge asset management businesses and helped other advisors do it as well. And they did a study about 6 years ago, and they found out how often clients needed to be contacted to turn into loyal clients. So how many times do you think the average client wants to be contacted, or the average client that turned into a loyal client was contacted? Now, before you answer that question, here's the difference between a loyal client and an average client. A loyal client refers 5 to 10 people a year, and basically has the attitude that they'll never leave their advisor. A satisfied client has said, I'll stay with my advisor until what? I'll stay with my advisor until what? A satisfied client says, I'll stay with my advisor until somebody shows me something better. Yeah, that's right, Ron. Till something comes, but loyal clients say, I'm never leaving my advisor. I don't even think about another advisor. But satisfied clients will leave if they find something better. And guess how many clients on average are satisfied? Into the high 80s. Like 87% of clients are satisfied, 13% of clients are loyal. Now, here's the thing. That's not per advisor. That's, in a industry-wide client survey. So that means you've got some advisors that have 100% satisfied clients and some advisors with 90% loyal clients. Because when an advisor knows how to keep the clients loyal, they generally keep most of their clients loyal. Every advisor maybe has 2 or 3 loyal clients, but some advisors have 70, 80% loyal clients. Now, we all would like loyal clients that are never going to leave us and are going to refer 5 to 10 people per year. So first of all, ask yourself, how many of your clients have referred 5 to 10 people a year? That'll tell you how many loyal clients you have. So what did they find? How many times does a client need to be contacted to become a loyal client? That's a 7 to 12. That's pretty good. Once every 2 weeks, Kevin. That's right. 24 times a year. Very good, Tom. 24 times a year. Now, here's very good, Britta. Now, here's the thing, though. What should they be contacted on? Those 24 times, what do they need to be contacted on? Very good, Tom. Non-financial things. Non-financial things. Because if all you do is contact them every 2 weeks about their money, we've talked about this before. If I'm on a date with a girl and the only thing I talk about is sex, what does she know about me? All I care about is sex. So if the only time we talk to them is about money, guess what they know? I only care about their money. So it's non-financial things. What are some of the non-financial things you can do? Many of you know that when I was making $1 million a year and busier than a one-arm paper hanger, I still wrote 200 handwritten notes per month. So I was contacting people for business anniversaries. I knew what month every client came on board, and I sent them a anniversary card for, hey, you've been with me for 2 years. Hey, you've been with me for 3 years. Thanks for the business. Thanks for being our relationship. Guys, how many of you send out anniversary cards to every one of your clients? When I was making $1 million a year, I took the time to do that. Birthday cards. Hey, everybody got a 4th of July. Be safe. Have a great 4th of July. Be safe. So I was constantly sending out handwritten notes. I was also constantly giving them phone calls. A lot of you experience with epidemic marketing. Our epidemic newsletter is financial or non-financial? Non-financial. So I contacted my clients 24 times a year following that advice. Even before I knew that was a thing, I actually did it and it was about non-financial contact. So when you do that, here's what's going to happen. You're not going to lose clients. You're going to get ongoing revenue. Number 2 is when you do that, when they inherit money, when they know a guy who's retiring, they refer them to you. When they have that piece of IRA business they didn't tell you about, they think this person is somebody I want to have all my money. So you get new business that way. Also, we all know, we've talked about this many times, the average client, when a husband dies, and again, 85% of wives leave their current advisor. If you're contacting them constantly about non-financial things, what's the likelihood the wife's going to stay with you, higher or lower? The kids will stay with you. When both parents die, the kids are going to stay with you because their parents are going to be talking about how great you are constantly. And you're going to get all sorts of referrals. There's lots of reasons that you should be contacting your clients on a regular basis and not always about their money, right? Also, do a client advisory board. How many of you run a client advisory board at least once a year? So in our archive library, we have a client advisory board, and it's a great way. We have a client advisory board special forces system in that what you do is you have clients help you come up with your unique selling proposition or your phrase, and then you have them go back and experiment with people they know. It's a great way to generate 10 to 11 referrals. So how many of you have run a client advisory board in the last year? And how much does that cost to do? How much does the client advisory board cost to do? To get 10 or 11 new referrals. Yeah. So this is something you do when business is slow or not, when business is going great. The time to re-strategize your business is now. So if time is slow, sit down and reevaluate. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? How efficient is it? How many clients is it bringing in? Yeah, what kind of clients is it bringing in? Is it constantly bringing in people with no money, not very much money, or people with lots of money? When it's slow, it's kind of sit down, take a breath, and look at your business. Say, is my strategy working? Once you know whether your strategy is working or not, refine your business systems and processes, and then automate them. automate the sales process. One of the reasons I love the 21-point checklist is how do I treat everybody, every client that comes in, referral, whether it's a lead, a Social Security workshop, a Medicare workshop, a financial workshop. How do I treat every single client? The same. How about my first meeting? How different is my first meeting? The same. Everything. I don't care if they come in from a Medicare, Social Security, referral, financial, tax planning. It's the same. We gather data. We first of all, I say before the bite hits the chair, we say what? It'd be okay if I share with you what happened 6 hours or so. Then we do our setting the tone. Then we gather data, and then we go to the goal script. How many, no matter what they come in for, do I do it the exact same way every single time? Yes. And then I do the 21-point checklist the same. And what's the benefit of that, guys? What's the benefit of that? Does McDonald's do shrimp and crab and sushi and grilled cheese? And what's McDonald's do? Small menu, and they do it the same way every time. And how quickly can they get you in and out? So how do you automate your sales process? Well, it's on our website. We have how to systematize your office. I mean, we've talked about this. It has been a while since we talked about this, but I was running 30 appointments a week before we could automate things. And I had my first appointments were in red folders. My second appointments were in yellow folders. My third appointments were in blue folders. And so I knew exactly what I was looking at. That was in a file, an open file right outside my office. So I would just come out and systematize your office so you're doing the same thing every single time. How many of you remember when I did all my case analysis? When did I do all my prep? How many of you remember that? When did I do all my prep? Saturday morning, right, Kevin? Saturday morning. So I knew every Saturday morning I had 3, I had 5, I had 7 case analysis to do on Saturday morning, every single time, and made me very efficient because I did one after the other, after the other. So guess how quickly I could get those done? I mean, I was doing, I got to the point where I was doing mock tax returns, and I was getting them done in 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do a mock tax return. That's what happens when you do the same thing over and over and over. When we try to customize every single thing to every single client, guess what happens? Speeds you up or slows you way down. And Missy knew exactly what she was supposed to do. I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. Tricia knew exactly what I was supposed to do. Jeff knew what, or so Jeff wasn't with me at that point. So, but my staff knew exactly what they're supposed to do, and it was a smooth process. You can't have it that every client is different. Every client needs to be the same if you want to make yourself. So when business is slow, figure out what that process is going to be. Automate it. Create effective systems for your business to achieve your sales goals. Do I like sales goals, guys? No, right? No. Instead, you need what? A process. See, because if I say I want to make $1 million this year, that means I want to make $1.2 million this year. That means I need to make $100,000 a month. Do I have any control over how much money I'm going to make? No. The only control I have over is what? As Nick and Kevin said, activity. So I want a system. I'm going to work backwards. I need to know how much I want to make. 1.2, but that's just the beginning. That's not at the end, because that is worthless. Then I'm saying, well, if I want to make 1.2, what's my average client size? Okay, well then I need my average client size is whatever it is, $50,000 a commission. That means I need to bring on 24 new clients. Okay, how many people do I need? How many number 3 meetings do I need to make? Bring on 24 clients. How many number 2 meetings do I need to get that many number 3s? How many number 1s do I need to get to number 2s? Then how much marketing do I have to do in order to get to that many number 1s? And then all I do is concentrate on what, guys? That marketing that I need to do in order to fill up that pipeline to make that amount of money. It's something that I can control. That make sense? go back and evaluate how you're doing compared to your competitors. What are the strengths? What does your company do well? How can you do it better? What qualities separate you from your competitors? Because guys, if you sound and act and do the exact same thing as your competition, guess what? Will you ever get above an average success rate if you do the same thing everybody else does? And guys, what percentage of advisors in this industry do the same thing as everybody else? I'd say 98%, yeah, 99%. Now, with the 21-point checklist, does that allow you to separate yourself? Does our unique selling proposition allow you to separate yourself? Are you using the program that will replace your spouse's Social Security check when they die? Are you using the program that will give you 2 years of long-term care protection without expensive annual premiums? How many of your competitors are asking those things? But what are other ways you could separate yourself? How many of you are using the WOW system from to set up your office to make it an unbelievable experience for very low cost to you, but an unbelievable experience for your clients? How many of you are using that? Internal research, things like there's been advisors that while their client is in their office, they have a service come and give them a car wash while they're in their office. So that's not necessary. That has nothing to do with financial, but how soon does that client want to leave that advisor? Soon or not soon? And what's the likelihood that that client brags about that advisor to his friends, neighbors, or relatives? Every time I go see my advisor, I get a car wash right in the parking lot. Now, you may not choose to do that for all your clients, but is that separating that advisor from their competitors? Yay or nay? So I'm asking these things because on my cell phone, I want to make sure you're still hearing me. We don't have more technical difficulties. Internal resources such as skilled, knowledgeable staff, tangible assets, intellectual property. Guys, there's nothing that frustrates me more is when I talk to an advisor and as we're going through, oh, shoot, my computer froze. Oh, wait, I have too many screens open. Oh, wait, it's being really slow today. Guys, we only have one tool in our toolbox, which is our computer. How powerful and how clean should that computer be? Should you have any issues at all with your computer? None. So every quarter, find a resource, whether it's Best Buy, Geek Squad, or somebody. You bring it in and say, go through this with a fine-tooth comb, clean it up, look for bugs and everything else. Make sure your computer is always fine-tuned. Make sense? What are my weaknesses? What am I doing that lacks? Is my parking lot dirty? Is my furniture in my office looking old? And guys, I use Pure One furniture, rattan furniture with little cushions. It doesn't need to be fancy, but it has to be what? Clean. What are things that my competitors are doing better than me? What could I do? What are they doing that's better than me, and how could I one-up them on that? What are my resource limitations? What do I need to update? Do I need a new computer? Do I need a new printer? Am I still using a dot matrix print? I've got advisors who still use dot matrix printers or printers that can only print a few sheets per minute. Guys, do you think they're at the top of the food chain or the bottom of the food chain? What are my resource limitations? How clear is my unique selling proposition? Opportunities, underserved markets. Are there markets that are available in my office? We got one guy right now who's AT&T is laying people off. Guess what he's doing right now, guys? He's leveraging all his connections with AT&T, and he's hitting one after another after another. Look for things that none of your competitors are areas that none of your competitors are hitting. That emerging need for products or services. Press or media coverage for your company. We're going to talk about this here in a minute. How to get easy press or media coverage for your company. Threats. Are there emerging threats? As an asset manager, what kind of emerging threats do we have as asset managers? AI, robo-advisors. Fisher's out there, even though he's a scumbag, pretending like he's the only person out there that's got clients' best interest at heart, which is not the case. But you guys, if you don't admit that, you need to what? If falling fees is another competitor, right? Changing regulatory environment, got to be always watching on the horizon of that. Negative press coverage for your industry, changing customer attitudes towards your company. We just talked about that. Make your clients love you, right? What else can you be doing when business is slow? Continuing professional development. Well, first of all, how good with this after this COVID? How good should every single one person on the 21-point checklist be with the 21-point checklist? With this, after 3 or 4 months of COVID, yeah, this should be flawless at this point. How many 15-minute drills should they have done working on their skills? How many books should they have read on psychology of selling, on communication? So if you're not getting better, you're what? If you're not getting better, you're what? You're moving backwards, right? Dare to be different. What new services can you provide? I just mentioned one with the car wash service. I don't recommend the car wash service. I didn't do it. That's way too much of a hassle. But you see, I talk about the dentist and a high-end, not even high-end dentist, but very successful dentist. They have TVs there for the clients to look at while they're getting their teeth cleaned. Does a dentist need a TV? No, but does it make them look different? So the things that are going to make you look different are probably not financial. They're what? They're ancillary. They're things that are going to make the client love your service more that have nothing to do with finances. Because unfortunately, do we have a product nobody else can sell, or does everybody else sell the same product? So they're going to make a decision based on experiential sales. Does that make sense? Experiential sales. What else do you do? Networking. How many of you have an accountant or several accountants you work with? We've given you a letter every time you bring on a new client. What's supposed to go out that week? A letter to their accountant. Yeah, the CPA letter. And it tells the CPA how great they are, and the client talks highly of them. And one of the things to do to prevent the CPA from squashing your deal or poo-pooing your deal, but the other thing is, when that accountant receives 3 of those letters in 1 year, and that happens pretty darn regularly, they're thinking what? If they get 3 of those letters in 1 year, what are they thinking? Oh, this is an advisor that's an idiot, or this is an advisor I maybe should start networking with. Yeah, this guy is good. Not a big fan of networking with attorneys because all they do is take, and they never give back. Now, if you have a buddy or a fraternity brother that's an attorney and is giving you referrals, that's fine. But if you don't try to bother to nurture an attorney, because where do they get all of their clients from? Where do they get 90% of their clients from? Advisors. So all they're going to do when you send them, and I sent 3 different attorneys before I gave up on them and started referring everybody to LegalZoom. I gave 3 different attorneys probably an average $50,000 to $100,000 of business a year. And when I go to them after a year, not receiving a referral back, I say, "What's the deal, man? You made $50,000 this year on my clients. I ain't seen a referral back." What'd they say? "Oh, I get all my clients from advisors, and I really don't want to upset that, and blah blah. I can't really show favoritism to one." I say, "Great. Well, guess what? You're not going to get my favoritism anymore. So, stay guys." So don't. But who else could you network with? How about ophthalmologists? How about chiropractors? How about gyms that cater to people who are people who are retired? And there are gyms out. Are there more and more gyms out there targeting the 50+ crowd, guys? Yes, there are, because that's where all the money is. So, do you have? I've had some advisors do fantastic jobs of creating networks of 3 or 4 or 5 of other professionals, and they get together once every couple of months, and they network. They share clients. They share events. They do events together, or they'll pass literature on to each of their clients about the other professional. That's another thing you could be doing. This is how we talked about. Or I talked about in a couple of minutes how to make sure you're in the press. We have a way to get your name in the paper, in New York Times, in Kiplinger's Finance. It's under the Epidemic Marketing Public Relations Manual. It'll tell you step by step to do it. Every advisor that's done that is within a couple of months been able to get their name in a large newspaper or magazine. And what do you do with that when you've been in a large paper or magazine? Where can you put that? As seen in New York Times, as seen on CNN Money, as seen everywhere. Yeah, you can put it on your, you can send out a news release to your clients if that's happened, but you can also put it on your website. You can put it on all your marketing. You can put it everywhere. So take a look at this. This is something, and when you're downtime, this is an excellent thing to do. And it's very, very super easy to do. In fact, we have an archive library. We have tons of things you could be doing. We have how to create the unique selling proposition, and we've already created for you, and how to use that. We have an assisted living facility system. We have how to do videos and get those out there. We have a business owner system, a bumper sticker system. We have a client advisory board, which we talked about, client appreciation event. How to community education is not something you'd want to be doing now simply because of COVID, but we have a system like that, CPA system. How to make sure when people go onto the internet that your name comes up and they see that, those maps where it shows if you're looking for a roofer and then the Google map comes up and it shows here's 5 roofers near you. This will tell you how to make sure that when somebody's looking for an advisor, you're one of those top 5 that they're looking at. Follow-up mini book system, friends helping friends referral system, golden referral system, the Guinness system, the Halo system, handwritten referral system. Let's go to the next one. Lifetime income distribution system. And then we've got a neighborhood mailing system. I mean, we've got all these different things that you can use. Should you be doing all these things, guys? No. But should you be doing 2 or 3 of these things? Yes. So in your downtime, go through, explore these things, and find out narrow it down to, well, these 10 are interesting. Then dive into them further and say, well, these 5 are really interesting. And then say, you know what? These are the 3 that I'm going to do, and get them started. Does that make sense? So should anybody be sitting around twiddling their thumbs when they don't have business going on? Or should they go home and say, well, there's no sense sticking around the office because nothing's going on here, so I guess I might as well go home and piddle around the house? It's okay to do that. If you're recharging your batteries, absolutely that's okay to do that. But should you ever be making an excuse, well, there's nothing I can do here, so I might as well go home? Is that something you should ever say? Or should it be if you decide not to do something and go home early, should it be a business decision that, you know what, I worked hard this week, there's really nothing, I've worked hard this week, I need to recharge my battery, and I'm going to go home? That's cool. But should you ever say, I don't know, there's no business coming in, so I guess there's nothing I can really do now, so I guess I'll go home and, hit the bottle? No. That's right, intentional, Kevin. That's the best word. Go home if it's an intentional decision to go home to recharge your batteries. Would I go home and clean my gutters, guys? Would I go home to paint my kid's bedroom? I would if there's one way that I would do that. What's the decision? What's the one decision? What's the calculation I'm going to do to determine whether I'm going to go home or not? If I get paid less than the person I'm hiring to do it. So if I'm paying somebody $50 an hour or $100 an hour to paint my home, if I make less than $100 an hour, then guess what? So what's $100 an hour in a 40-hour work week? $4,000. So $16,000. So what's 16,000 times a year? So 16,000 times 12. So if I make less than $200,000, that's right, if I make less than $200,000 and I have to pay somebody $100 to do it, I guess I would go home and do it. Or I would say, you know what? Getting paid $100 an hour, making $200,000 is not enough. I should be what? Investing in myself so next year I can make $400,000 or $500,000. But you don't have to do that. But should I ever go home to do something when I can pay somebody $25 an hour, $50 an hour to do it? Only, a couple of people pointed out, if you enjoy it. If you enjoy, nobody's going to enjoy cleaning out their gutters. But are there some people that maybe find painting a zen-like activity? Okay, that's cool if that's the case. But then you're making you're saying, I'm not doing this to save money. I'm doing this because I want to be, I enjoy painting. Again, I don't know anybody who enjoys painting, but if that's the case, then have at it. But should we, based on all these ideas that we talked about today, should anybody go home because they say there's really nothing I can do here to grow my business? So I might as well go home. And I want everybody to answer this. So I got 1. Everybody answered. 3. Everybody answered. Only 3 people are going to answer that. Need more than that. But I got people saying, of course. No, guys. How many of you are working at 40? If it's of course, how many of you are working a 40-hour work week? And how many of you make a decision to go home because there's nothing left to do today? So many of you are the hardest working people in the industry. But many of you do slide, and I get it. And if you're sliding as intentionally, that's cool. But we should, because you know what? We're all in charge of our life. We all have different values and different things we want to accomplish. But just never go home because you think, I can't do anything more to move my business forward. Does that make sense? Awesome. So do you mind these kind of conversations on an occasional basis on how to be more in charge of your life and your business? Cool. Awesome. Awesome, Richard. Great. Well, that's all I have to cover today. And again, everybody cross your fingers and send goodbyes for tomorrow's next step in the experiment. And we're getting close to yays or nays on how this is going to work. So we will talk to you all next Monday, hopefully with some good news or at least moving in the right direction. Thanks, everybody. You have a great rest of the week.